they get some units here that you're back on payment on rentals.
Listen, this is not a matter for you and I to discuss. But they're showing up here out of the blue like that without any call, any show. I don't owe them. The people who owe them owe me. So they're coming here trying to do a hostile takeover or whatever.
It's not hostile.
In a video posted on January 20th, 2026, the owner of the Urban Recon YouTube channel, who we will refer to as Mr. Recon, recorded an encounter in Pelham, New Hampshire between himself, representatives of Bear Transport, a towing and repossession company, and officers with the Pelham Police.
A confrontation in Pelham, New Hampshire turned a private vehicle dispute into a test of police authority and repossession law. The scene looked simple at first. Representatives of Bear Transport arrived at a property with paperwork they said allowed them to take several vans. But within minutes, the person holding those vehicles refused to surrender them. Police officers arrived, and the entire situation shifted from a routine recovery attempt into a legal standoff. The visual anchor is simple. A line of tow trucks outside a property, the vehicles sitting behind them, and police officers standing in the middle while everyone argues over one question. Who actually has the legal authority to take them? Before we go deeper into what the documents and recorded statements actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Police Misconduct Case, because we don't just cover the confrontation, we follow the evidence. According to the recorded encounter, the Bear Transport representatives were attempting to recover vans connected to a financial dispute involving multiple parties. Mr. Rakin immediately objected.
Yes, it is.
They get an order to repossess here.
From who?
It looks like there's a repossession affidavit.
That's not illegal. I can make that. That's just a document. So the end of the story is, I'm owed. They're not getting anything. I already asked them to leave. When they said they were going to leave, you guys show up. They called you guys.
Yeah, they called us.
Yeah, so they told me they were leaving. Now they called you guys.
Did you speak with an officer McQuaid yesterday about this?
No. Probably them.
You didn't speak to any officers yesterday about this?
No.
Okay.
Just to know, are you guys sergeants? I'm on the phone with your police department.
There's no need for a supervisor. One's on his way, but there's no need for
There's
one.
no need. So if we
But
can...
he's on his way. He's on his way because you called. But there's no need.
I just called to talk to them. That's it.
We're just trying to figure out. They gave us a repossession order. Mm-hmm. We were told that this was arranged.
No.
So we're down here. So
not at all.
So
they just pulled up.
If you don't want to allow them to do it,
they're not allowed.
They're gonna end up. Hear me out.
Let them go to court. Let them get an order. I already have a lawyer going through.
Can you hear me out?
this.
Let me talk.
I already have a lawyer.
You don't want to hear me out.
Litigation.
You don't want to hear me out.
I already know what can happen. I just want them out of here.
Listen to me. They're going to report these vehicles as stolen. And if you actually do owe money on these vehicles...
I don't.
Hold on.
The company who...
Do you own the company?
He explained that his company had been contracted to transport and store the vans, and that the people who were supposed to pay him had not done so. His position was that Bear Transport could not simply arrive and take the vehicles because another company claimed they were owed money. The representatives disagreed. He repeatedly directed the parties toward the courts. Let them go to court.
Over here. Yeah. I got a camera on
This company
too.
came, they said that they get some units here that you're back on payment on rentals.
Listen, this is not a matter for you and I to discuss. But they're showing up here out of the blue like that without any call, any show. I don't owe them. The people who owe them owe me. So they're coming here trying to do a hostile takeover or whatever.
It's not hostile.
Yes, it is. They get
an order to repossess here.
From who?
It looks like there's a repossession affidavit.
That's not illegal. I can make that. That's just a document. So the end of the story is, I'm owed. They're not getting anything. I already asked them to leave. When they said they were going to leave, you guys show up. They called you guys.
Yeah, they called us.
Yeah, so they told me they were leaving. Now they call you guys?
Did you speak with an officer McQuaid yesterday about this?
No. Probably them.
You didn't speak to any officers yesterday about this?
No. Okay. Just to know, are you guys sergeants? I'm on the phone with your police department.
There's no need for a supervisor. One's on his way, but there's no need for
There's
one.
no need. So if we
But
can...
he's on his way. He's on his way because you called. But there's no need.
I just called to talk to them. That's it.
We're just trying to figure out. They gave us a repossession order. Mm-hmm. We were told that this was arranged.
No.
So we're down here. So
not at all.
So
they just pulled up.
If you don't want to allow them to do it,
they're not allowed.
They're gonna end up. Hear me out.
Let them go to court.
Hear me
Let
out.
them get an order. I
Can you hear me out?
already
Can you
have a lawyer going
Can you hear
through
me out?
this.
Let me talk.
I already have a lawyer.
You don't want to hear
There's
me out.
litigation.
You don't want to hear me out.
I already know what can happen. I just want them out of here.
Listen to me. They're going to report these vehicles as stolen. And if you actually do owe money on these vehicles...
I don't.
And, hold on.
The company who...
Do you own the company?
Listen.
Do you own the company?
No. Listen, I'm not here to explain anything to you. It's very cut and dry. This company was dispatched by a company that's owed money by the owners or whoever put these vans on the road. The owners of these dispatched my company to transport them and to store them. So I'm owed money. Okay? That's the end of the story.
Who's the company that...
They need to go through litigation
that brought him here?
because I'm already first in line. They're doing the litigation for this as we speak. And if you want to vouch, get somebody to vouch for me, John, the Pelham Town Code Advisor, Lebowski, call him. He knows exactly what's going on here. What these guys are trying to do here, they're blocking the road, first of all. They're not supposed. How do you just show up down here like this?
Let's not turn this into they're blocking the road and hostile take. You're throwing all kinds of buzzwords that have no application.
Wait. This is all I want to tell you.
We're going to leave because
Yes.
you obviously don't want to cooperate with us.
Yes.
You're throwing out attorneys.
There's nothing to cooperate with.
Stop.
You can't just show
We're
up
leaving.
like this
We're
out of the blue.
We're leaving.
Okay, bye.
You're throwing out attorneys' names. So we
Bye.
So we're going to advise them to seek out what they need to do.
Exactly. Not show up like this.
Well, they can.
No,
Yes,
they can, but they can't get away with it. So bye.
Well,
I deal with repos all the time when they show up.
This is not a
They
repo.
came down
This is
to
not a
repo a
repo.
car. They asked
That's
you-
a piece of paper I can print out for you right now. I'll go repo your car right now with that paper. How about that? Yalla, get out. Get off the property and let them know they're not welcome here anytime. And if they show up, they need to make an appointment. I gave them the proper numbers to call. Tony. Yeah, that's very professional of you, Tony. Very professional. Okay, let's clear up this road here. Okay, let's clear up the road here. Let's clear up the road, please. I got neighbors. You're making me look like a big-time criminal here.
They said they had paperwork for the repossession, but Mr. Recon challenged the document itself. This is not illegal. I can make that. It's just a document, he argued. That statement became important because the document was being treated as proof of authority, while Mr. Recon argued that it did not actually give anyone the right to take the vehicles over his objection. The police were then called to the property. When officers arrived, they began asking questions about the situation. One officer appeared to believe the representatives had documentation supporting the repossession. Mr. Recon pushed back immediately. He told the officers that the dispute was already moving through litigation and that he had a lawyer involved.
When a borrower takes out a loan to purchase an asset, a lender will often require the borrower to pledge that asset as collateral, Section 594.10 of the New Hampshire Revised Statutes. Officers are also authorized to enforce specific court orders, such as the writ of replevin that we discussed earlier in this episode, which directs a sheriff to take possession of property following a judicial determination. Instead, the secured party can take possession of, or quote-unquote, repossess the collateral and sell it if the borrower defaults. Under Section 382-A 9-609 of the New Hampshire Revised Statutes, a secured party seeking to repossess collateral without a court order may do so only if the repossession proceeds without breach of the peace. Now, while the statute does not explicitly define the term breach of the peace, the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of New Hampshire addressed its meaning directly in the 1990 case of In re McLeod, which involved a prior version of the statute that contained the same requirement that self-help repossession may only proceed where no breach of the peace occurs.
He said, that was the dividing line. Bear Transport believed it had a right to recover the vehicles. Mr. Recon believed he had a competing legal claim and that the property could not be taken through a confrontation at his home. The officers now had to determine what their role actually was. Were they investigating a crime, or were they being asked to step into a private dispute over money and possession? The situation changed when Sergeant Page reviewed the paperwork himself.
In New Hampshire, a so-called affidavit of repossession is a document filed with the Division of Motor Vehicles by a lien holder after a lawful repossession has already been completed. In other words, it is a post-repossession administrative filing, not a document that legally authorizes a repossession. Now, it is unclear from the video whether the document presented was the actual DMV form or some other privately generated document. But in either case, no affidavit can confer the right to take possession of property over over the objection of the person in possession. A secured party that cannot complete a self-help repossession without a breach of the peace must instead proceed under Section 536-A of the New Hampshire Revised Statutes, which governs replevin. Under that statute, a secured party must file a petition in Superior or Circuit Court. And a court would almost certainly find that the document presented by Bayer Transport, whatever its origin, did not authorize the agents to breach the peace to repossess the vehicles under New Hampshire law.
We can't
No.
force them. They'll have to get an ex parte
Okay,
order
just,
or revoke the store.
I don't want you to like raise your voice just because I can't.
I'm not raising my voice.
Come.
You're just going to let me talk from California.
I know, but what you're saying, it really doesn't add to the situation. But regardless, Sergeant Page,
So
the way they showed up here, blocking traffic, all my neighbors are looking at me like I'm Don whatever.
yeah.
That's a bad look.
And unfortunately, that's
And
a bad
for
look
them,
for that
for
company.
them to do that,
Yeah.
oh, they don't care. They're repo guys.
Yeah,
They don't care.
Yeah,
They sneak around at night, and I told them, "Are you going to try to steal these like thieves in the night? Because if you do, I got this guy, you know. And if you think you're going to get away with that, that's not going to happen. Go to the proper channels. If I was owed, you don't think I would just chop these up in a chop and get my money and get over with it? I can't do that. I don't want to feed my stomach like that or my kids like that.
I get you.
So I'm going through the proper channels, and I've been waiting since August.
Yeah.
It's almost a year
It's
now.
also, so speak.
Oh yeah, of course. So he's in court now.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
you've been working with Zawalski, right?
Yes,
As well.
yes, he knows me well.
Unregistered vehicles being on the property.
Yes,
type of deal.
exactly. He's helping
He's
me out,
working out, so-
and I have a track record
Yeah.
with the town. They understand the situation, but
So
these guys are probably lower in the totem pole than I am
they're
to
just
get
guys
fed.
that got hired. You know,
I know,
they're doing
but-
they're doing the job. You know, it's
Not with those documents.
the
No,
moment I saw
they
it,
thought I was a schmuck.
The moment
That's
I
what
His assessment was direct. He said the representatives did not have the correct repossession paperwork and that the vehicles would not be taken. He explained that whatever civil dispute existed between the parties would have to be handled between them.
saw
they
the documents, I realized they weren't.
You understand that, Officer Locke? They thought I was a schmuck.
I don't think they thought that.
Yeah, they did, because you brought that over thinking they had the
Hold on,
right to
there's
take
more
these.
information on these vehicles that I'm not going to talk about right now.
Good.
With GPS locations. So.
Oh, that's fine. I'm not hiding anything. Everyone knows where they're sitting. I'm not hiding a thing.
Right.
That's why these guys came and they left. They left because they knew they had no legitimate claim to these.
What we'll do is, I need you to leave to go to the other thing, back to school. Okay.
Can I have that paperwork?
This is going to be for Officer McQuaid.
Can I take a picture of it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because
Riding or just
Oh, our training kit.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm gonna go-
take care of that. All right, thank you. So like I said, man, we'll go from there. We're going to contact the company because we have to on our end. Just say, hey, what's up? So talk.
yeah.
Everything's going on there, and then whatever the civil issue is, I'm calling it civil because I don't know the legalities of it.
It's definitely so.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not going to say you stole them or they're reporting false claim. I don't know. It's not my investigation. But we'll handle what we can on our
If I
end.
stole them, I wouldn't have two sets of keys.
Hey, I
registrations
get you,
to
man. I get you.
everything,
So
know?
we'll go from there.
I wouldn't tell the town about it.
You want to be hiding them in plain sight.
Yeah, exactly.
Sergeant Page refers to the dispute between the parties as a quote-unquote civil issue, explaining that he does not have enough information to determine whether any crime has been committed. A civil dispute is one in which one private party seeks a remedy against another through the court system, such as the recovery of money or property, while a criminal matter is one in which the state prosecutes an individual for conduct that violates the penal law.
The police could contact the other company, gather information, and determine whether there was evidence of a crime.
Following Sergeant Page's intervention, the Bayer Transport representatives and the responding officers left the scene without further incident. Very little information is available about this encounter beyond what is captured in the video, and the ultimate resolution of the underlying dispute between the parties is unknown. It is likewise unclear whether Mr. Recon has filed a complaint against Bayer Transport or the officers involved. Overall, the Pelham officers get a B+ for correctly identifying the insufficiency of the repossession affidavit, declining to facilitate a repossession that did not meet the legal requirements for self-help, and appropriately characterizing the underlying dispute as a civil matter outside the scope of law enforcement intervention. Sergeant Page reviewed the affidavit presented and recognized that it did not constitute valid authorization for a repossession, a conclusion that was almost certainly legally correct, given that the document was at most a post-repossession administrative filing and not a court order authorizing the seizure of property under circumstances as constituting a breach of the peace. His refusal to allow officers to compel surrender of the vehicles reflected an accurate understanding of the limits of law enforcement authority in civil disputes, which does not extend to taking sides in creditor conflicts or compelling the transfer of property in the absence of a court order. However, the grade falls short of an A because the officers who initially responded treated the repossession affidavit as facially sufficient before Sergeant Page arrived and corrected course, a lapse that contributed to the escalation of an already tense situation. This interaction highlights that when law enforcement is called to the scene of a disputed repossession, the threshold question is not whether the creditor believes that it has a right to the property, but whether the legal conditions for self-help repossession have been satisfied, and whether a court order exists that officers are actually authorized to enforce. And Mr. Recon gets an A for maintaining a composed and relatively respectful demeanor throughout a confrontational encounter, demonstrating a working knowledge of the legal limitations on self-help repossession, and peacefully but firmly asserting his right to retain possession of the vehicles. Despite the arrival of a fleet of tow trucks, a disputed repossession attempt, and the presence of law enforcement, Mr. Recon remained calm and engaged, consistently directing all parties toward the litigation process already underway, rather than allowing the situation to escalate. His core legal position was sound. A privately generated affidavit does not confer the right to take possession of property over the objection of the person in possession, and he was entirely within his rights to refuse to surrender the vehicles on that basis. It should be noted that because the available information about this interaction is limited to what is captured in the video, making a fuller assessment of the underlying dispute is not possible, so Mr. Recon's grade is based solely on his conduct during this encounter. That being said, I commend Mr. Recon for recognizing in real time and without the benefit of legal counsel present that the legal limitations on self-help repossession were directly implicated by what occurred, and for holding that position firmly, respectfully, and without physical confrontation.